Hi everyone, how are you doing today? So I kind of had a couple of hours and I did have an idea that I was going to be doing with my Patreons, but the last minute, as is the case of my life, it seems, I had an idea to work on a song. This is something I do with my Patrons quite a lot, and I try and keep it as kind of rough and ready as possible. I do actually work, and it makes it very hard to kind of organize it in this way. So something that I really wanted to do was kind of, and a lot of people ask about, is kind of working on songs and starting songs. So I have literally got nothing but an idea that I've sung into my phone. And basically, let me just take this off. I've got nothing but a kind of very rough idea, and I kind of have a couple of hours, maybe till 3 or 4 o'clock. So I thought it'd be cool to kind of start some stuff and kind of just be, just have the chat going. So I'll say hi to everyone, hello, and just kind of work through things. If you have any questions, ask, and I'll try and kind of explain as I go along. So I had a chord progression literally while I was getting ready that kind of just popped into my head. Like I say, I got nothing. I don't know what key it's in. I don't know anything. I was just going to start this idea and kind of try and build something up, like I say, for maybe a couple of hours, and kind of answer any things. Hi, Connor. Hi. I'm seeing. I don't know how to pronounce your name, but I don't know which way round it is either. But hi, Connor, and hi. So let's get on with this idea. Often the starting place for me is tempo. I'll usually have the idea, and it is usually fairly fully formed. I usually imagine the whole thing. I very rarely start pieces on individual instruments. I usually can kind of hear the whole idea as if I was, like you would listen to you can, when you're thinking about a song, you can usually hear the whole song. So first thing is literally, I don't even know, this one's called Metro Timer, and it's just a metronome app on my phone. I kind of prefer that over anything else, and usually I will start here. For me, it's kind of, I have a real issue with anything where like you have an idea and you transpose that idea, or kind of messing around with the tempo. That just really throws me. It has to just feel, I feel like an idea just feels right in kind of, I don't know, I think certain keys definitely have certain feelings, and certain tempos certainly have a certain feeling, and I really feel like that's the first thing to get right. I really struggle otherwise. So I kind of had this idea, and I think maybe I'll get... actually, part of the stream I was going to do this morning was, being that it's Christmas, everyone's giving away like free plugins and stuff. So if I do this, hopefully you guys can see me and see my screen. Whoa. So just a kind of update, I suppose, for anyone who hasn't seen one of these, I suppose, before. This is Ableton Live. This is the DAW, my DAW of choice. I've got everything going into an Apollo. This is the console for the Apollo. So these are my inputs here. So I have my 2-note studio for my guitar, which is my kind of impulse response player. I don't know what it is. I pretty much have the Neve 1073 as a preamp on everything, other than my analog Rytm here, which is got the SSL channel. I have this kind of room. It's like a Fender. They do it for one of their UAD little deluxe plugins. And that's literally just like a room sound, but I really, really like it. So I've got the signal going to that. Everything else is kind of pretty much as is. And so yeah, so that is going in to Ableton. But something I'm actually really enjoying at the moment, considering it's free, let me just dig it out, is I'll make another instrument. I'm just going to use it to kind of try and work out the chords of this idea and then try and drag it into a tempo. So this is by a company called TAL, or TAL. Oh, okay. It says on the back there, Togu audio line. Okay, I didn't know that. This is free. I actually got it through the Splice website, but I'm pretty sure you can just go on their website and get it. It's obviously meant to emulate a Juno 6 or 60. Let me get you some sound. Right. There we go. Happy holidays to you. It is very festive. If I had a camera spare, I'd have it on my Christmas tree. Particularly proud of it this year. It's looking good. It's nice and crisp. Nice a bit. I'm not sure how well you can see out the window, but there's a fair amount of snow on the roofs, and it's kind of nice. I think there's going to be a white Christmas here, so that will be exciting. I'm excited for that. So here it is. Let's just check that's coming through. Okay, it's a little bit quiet. Let me give you a bit more volume. Hopefully you can hear that. For anyone kind of looking for something that will do, anything that, to some degree, I actually got some time on a real one of these recently, and I did prefer my Prophet 08. But very, very similar DCOs. So I'm just gonna usually I start with filter down. Ironically, I think that's the key that my idea is in. And then what I normally do for setting any settings on this, just very quickly, I'm going to be very brief as I kind of want to get on with the idea. I'll get the decay into a place that feels good for a note. And then the release, just so that, just a healthy note, and then I'll bring in the sustain. I'm going to take this sub out, so I've just got the sawtooth. That's kind of what I want. Maybe take the sub. Nice. Yeah, and then these courses are just amazing. Here's the difference. And here it is with chorus 1. Huge. And here it is with both. Absolutely enormous sounding. I'm just going to double check that you guys are getting... I just realised something. And you might not be getting it because I'm stupid. 1 second. Let's try it like this. You should hopefully be receiving that. Lovely. Now that's better. Sorry, apologies for that. No? Gone again? Lovely. Right. Oh, absolutely. It is just enormous. The difference between like I say, without. Why would you not? Just maximum widener. It's coming in a little bit hot, but I think I'm probably just going to use this. I got a feeling in my head this idea already kind of feels like a kind of circle of fifths type thing, I think. So warts and all, I keep this as I would do something. I'm pretty sure from the sounds of it that it's in the key of A minor. So again, so many of my ideas, again, this could be rubbish and make me look like a right fool, but I have this idea that's kind of like an anacrusis vocal melody, and then it kind of goes into this ever-building chord progression. I really like the sound of it. I could hear it working on a few instruments. I thought it would be a good thing to use. I'm definitely sure it's A minor. Cool. So what I'll do is usually kind of sing it, work it out. I pretty much sing probably 100% of everything I ever come up with. It's for me probably the main compositional tool I use. Pretty much every idea is either in my brain or I kind of I kind of sing the melody. I'll sing it into my phone, usually while I'm getting ready in the morning or having a shower or whatever, and then I'll kind of try and work that out at a later point. So the thing I concentrate on while I'm listening to this idea in my head is trying to kind of capture the sound as soon as possible. The kind of certainly the bass is usually really helps, because then I can kind of work out the chords from there. So this little silly melody, I don't even think it's a great melody, but I really liked the feeling of it. So I'm going to give it a go and see again once I've got a loop going, I'll then try and work out more vocal melodies over it and improvise with that. So it kind of had a thing that was like, we gotta do. So we gotta D, F major, F major, D major. Let's try that. We gotta not so sure on that D major, but D minor is good. D minor is fun. We gotta So that's fine. I kind of heard that's a fairly basic, fairly average chord progression. Cool that I could change it to D major though. I did that fairly by accident with my ear. But for example, you could do something. So I've got so far A major first inversion, E major. Sorry, A minor first inversion. Major, triad, F major, first inversion, and then D minor. But it's nice. D major fits in quite nicely there. For example, I always look for a way of being able to, usually the melody or the chords inform the kind of interest in the melody. So anywhere you can add something like that, they might add a bit of colour. It doesn't feel too bad, even with the melody that I've got already going underneath it. Could be cool. So maybe at one point I could look at doing something like we're gonna. Oh. It's going to give me some nice notes to go to. I kind of hear the progression keep going though. So maybe something like we're gonna sorry. Da, 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 da. Yeah, so right now this chord progression is kind of in this nice 4-chord loop. I kind of originally, and again that's kind of why I try and sing it into my phone, is that I've got something to reference of the original idea. Sometimes by kind of, and again this is going to be the most pretentious analogy ever, but I often kind of describe this stuff as trying to remember a dream. And you have this idea and you're like, oh, that sounds amazing. Or you have this dream and you're like, oh, that was incredible, whatever. And then you explain it to someone else and you realise that it's absolute nonsense. And that by explaining it, you realise it doesn't make any sense anymore. That's how this often feels, is that I'm trying to remember what I heard in my head, or what I sang or managed to try and get across in my phone. And then, so that's kind of why I actually end up going back to it a lot, because sometimes my musical brain will take over and I'll start kind of adding things in and I'll accidentally play a chord like the D major, and that will push me in a certain direction, and then I'll realise halfway through that it doesn't work, and so then I will have to kind of come back to it and be like, oh, okay, why is this idea not working? And I realise I've actually deviated from the original idea. So yeah, I kind of hear this. Maybe this. Maybe it will insinuate an A major there. That's cool. Do you imagine the instrumentation when the melody comes into your head, or is the melody a standalone thing and the instrumentation comes when you start bringing the idea to this writing stage? Often I kind of can hear the tone of something. So, for example, I kind of... I might use something like this. Obviously, I'll probably just get my actual Prophet out and do it with that. I can hear more or less. I can hear like kind of the key things roughly, and then it's kind of like attributing them to what sounds best or closest. For example, I can kind of hear, and kind of actually the first thing I heard was kind of a very simple like kind of ostinato. And again, I don't know what that'll be on. It feels like it could be on something like the modular or a piano, but I think it could be cool on the guitar. So like, I can hear as kind of, must be like an octave. Da, da, da. and then semitone. Da. Yeah, cool. So I can kind of hear something like this going. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, and then I can kind of hear a like a rough drum thing around that, and it's just very simple kind of resonarism, let's call it, or even everyone. So kind of it sounds maybe something like, kind of like. But I feel like that could be cool on the guitar, like very scratchy. And I can kind of hear like a arpeggio kind of thing. So like, I don't know what they'll be on. That's just kind of me being bonkers, I suppose, and singing to myself as I have this melody. It seems like this bass line. Maybe I'll do something with the inversion there with that C sharp, because that indicates like an A major thing. I kind of hear another part. I'm not sure. Okay, I think potentially what I'm hearing. Do you often upload stuff on Patreon? I was thinking of subbing. I try and do twice a week. This is kind of still learning and still obviously at this early stage of doing it, how much time I can kind of commit. Obviously, I have to be fairly realistic, and obviously this isn't a full-time, the Patreon isn't enough to be a full-time job, and I have to do other music work at the same time. So I also kind of like to use the Patreon as a way to work on new music. It's a really good thing, and it's kind of fun, and it pushes me to do more, and it's kind of hopefully nice to be able to share it with people. For me, that's nice. I am looking to do some releases just for the Patreons and work on some music, and only release it on the Patreon. As it's kind of nice, it's like a small group, and kind of I can share stuff with them, and I don't feel like it's a big song and dance and going out to the entire world and all that kind of stuff, and much less pressure for me. I hope that answers your question. Do you ever think of something cool? like no. I think of nothing cool. I don't know what cool means. I don't know. For me, I think it's cool. Obviously, this isn't what this kind of sound like, but this kind of seemed like a good thing. And lots of people have been asking me about my Prophet recently, so it's a cool plugin. But sweet rinse. So I think I could maybe. I'm kind of happy in that being the chord thing. I'll probably try and keep working away on that. And try and get a tempo. So that's coming in at like 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3. So we'll give that a go. I like even numbers. Boo, I hit send too soon. Awesome. And do you usually give feedback on other people's music? I do in my lessons. That's something I do a lot. And something we've been hoping to do on the Patreon is do a thing where maybe I like that idea of kind of having a sample or having samples and like seeing what we could do with them. But I do it a lot in the private lessons that I do. I do that a lot. I hit send too soon. All right, okay. Do you ever think of... Okay, right, sorry, apologies. I mean, I don't mind. Do you ever think of something cool, spend ages fathoming on it just to realise it's a 1, 4, 5 progression or something? Yeah, all the time, yeah. It's often. And I'm trying to keep it that way. I really am trying to do things warts and all and do these, and sometimes they don't work. And there's been a few where I'm just like, I don't know what to do. But then at the same time, that's often like the biggest question for people. Just like now, people are saying, well, what do you do? And I kind of try and offer what I would do and work on it and how to push through barriers. And sometimes, we go through them, and sometimes it's not. Sometimes an idea is just a learning curve kind of thing. If anything, I would argue some of the best chord progressions are kind of 1, 4, 5. I mean, this isn't too far off, right? Let's say we're in A minor. Immediately we've got the E major, which kind of ruins everything. But might have unwittingly just worked out that thing I was thinking about. No. Let me do it this way. I'll tell you what, I can try out the tempo while I think about that. I have made it so that you guys hopefully don't hear the annoying click so much. We're gonna do... how can I do this? I think I can just flip the chord progression, I think. I think it's just the same with an A major, right? Is that... Oh, sorry for my poor piano skills. Feels definitely lower. Best way to do this. I don't know if I like this kind of falling octave thing. I think I can work that out better. But I think that's kind of maybe what I'm hearing. That's a nice space. I think it could be a little fast. I've learnt that this sustain pedal doesn't work on this plugin, like a real one, which is offering me no, exposing all of my piano skills. Hi Andrew, just joined in. Everything you do is cool. Oh, thank you very much. That's very kind. Not to be distracting, but have you heard John Frusciante is back in the chat? Have I heard? I think it's the most excited I've been about something in a long, long time. He's my hero. Yeah, influenced everything I ever do, ever. And yeah, I've seen them. I saw them at Earl's Court, and I saw them at V Festival many, many years ago. But I was very young. I think it was just after Stadium Arcadium came out. So I'm super excited to be able to see him again. I will definitely be attending a UK. I don't think he'll come out here to Reykjavik, but a UK concert I will most certainly attend. That didn't feel too bad at 122. What I'll probably next do is look at getting together a rhythm, because then that will usually inform kind of what I'm doing. And then I can start to kind of build a little world to play in, and start kind of putting instruments in. So I'll tell you what I can do. It's all about my chemical. You know what? I'm going to drop a huge bomb. I've never really been into my chemical. I don't. It's not my thing. I don't. It's okay. They're all right. They make good songs. But you know, unpopular opinions or whatever. Okay. So what I can do is, if I press this button, I hope it's the right button. Pow. You know what? I just remembered. Don't you dare. If I do, is it this? Here you go. You can see what I'm doing. It's crazy. So I've got my analog Rytm here. What I will do is maybe even do this, and then I hope you guys can see. What I can do is bring you in a bit closer. Whoa. And ooh. Click my bank details, which is great. Okay, I've been down this road before. But again, I'll kind of try and blast through this very, very quickly. Let me do this. And I can make it so that you guys can see it, which is pretty cool. Turn down the gain a bit. Ooh. So it might be a bit darker, but you should hopefully be able to see the screen a bit better. Cool. Nice. So, analog Rytm is a drum machine. It's a... Mate. What makes you think I haven't already got the Black Parade? I haven't, to be fair. So, cool. I'll load a new project. So think of this as being kind of, let's say 12 analog engines. Hopefully you should hear this if I'll be a bit quiet. And I can change them however I like. So what I immediately will do, and something you should do with anything like this, whether it's an acoustic drum or otherwise, being that I'm kind of based in A minor, it seems, although I'm going to have an option for A major, which would immediately tell me to avoid either C sharp or C as a tuning note, because I just don't want to go there. But it means I've got either A or E as solid root fifth. I will normally go through and I will tune my kick. Even if I don't end up using this, it's usually just a fantastic place for me to start rhythmically. I'll tell you what, I can do this, and then I can do this, and hopefully you can kind of see the screen as well. I've just got it going in here into Ableton, and I'll eventually bounce them out, but it's just coming in stereo. And down here, I've just got a tuner. So do it this way, you might see a bit better. Cool. So I'll just take the decay, turn it up to full, and as you can see, well, actually maybe I need to change, what I haven't done is change kit. So let's do this on D1. Let's call it that. Cool, right. And then what I will do is load a new kit. So essentially, if you think of a new kit being like a different sample set, so this is a fresh kit default, if that makes sense. So I'll hit this, and that's hitting an A flat on my tuner. So I'll bring that down to A on the tune. Sorry, up to A. Seems like I've got a choice of either flat, just flat of A. I'm gonna go for just flat of A. I'm always like to be prefer to be a little flat than sharp. And then I know I've got, if I do want to kind of just get a bit more presence out of the kick, I know I can tune it up a tiny bit. Out of interest, what number is that? -5, so I can always take it up to -4 if I wanted to. Cool, so then I can turn my decay back to where it was, which is probably 46 or so. Do the same with the snare. That's my kind of note. Again, what have I got here? An E flat. So that means I can tune that up to an E almost perfectly. Fantastic. And then same here with this kind of rim shot. They're the only ones I tune, the toms. Unless there's a real melody to them, I'll just make them notes in the scale, which could be annoying in this case, but I think I'm just going to able them. These aren't samples. These are being made. This is literally analog circuitry, literally making these sounds like you would with an 808. But there's 12 of them, and I can configure them in any which way I like. So this is just all internal hardware. I have yet to really jump into sampling. I am trying to, and it's something we're doing on the Patreon a bit. But for the most part, I just love the sounds of this, and if anything, I would buy this is the Mark 1 version, I would definitely buy the Mark 2. So let's do the same here. So that's a D, so maybe I will take that up to an E. Cool. I've got a clap, but I don't really tune it. Any plans for releasing solo music in 2020? I don't have any plans for doing anything solo other than making music on the Patreon. I think that's kind of where I'm going to leave that. But the idea being that hopefully I kind of finish some, I put ideas, I probably have maybe one a day for a song. Try and funnel some of them through the Patreon, do it together, and then kind of build this community, hopefully, where we can kind of hear these songs and you guys, obviously the songs you really like, you'd be like, maybe if I had 10, 20 songs, maybe one day I would maybe tour that. But I am currently starting work on a new project that I will tour and play and do, full time. As a well, not full time, but a proper one, and really tour that and play that. What is your reason to move over to PC and Ableton from Logic? From what I remember nowadays, use Ableton for your live backing tracks, but what made you move over? Ableton, it just seems like it does everything that I'm interested in, and it does. It's amazing. I really love it. I'm still learning about it and building instruments and stuff like that. I'm really finding out. So I'm a little slow on it still. I'm used to Logic, but as for what I need, it's absolutely perfect. And for these new projects, most everyone uses Ableton, so that makes the most sense as far as doing that. I've forgotten the other part. PC, I just wanted a ridiculously powerful computer, and that was going to either cost me about £12,000 or 4. So I went for 4. And it's more powerful than any of the Macs that are out. It's pretty much the top spec PC, the literally computer place over the road. Computer is. good build. So we just spec'd it out. It's great. I can make videos and graphics, and my wife can use it for photography and editing and what have you, and I can use it for this, and I can run it at a super high level, processing all of this stuff, and still use a 32-bit sample rate. It's great. Cool. So I might start a way of kind of just determining the tempo here, and start putting in a beat. As you can see here, when I, except you can't, that you should see that this is starting to scroll. It's because I've got it synced, clock synced to the computer. So it will run in tandem with it. So it means if I take this kick and I put it in here, you'll see that it will now play on those beats. Obviously I can... What's cool is I can also edit those for each and every single one, so it means I can kind of have fun with the beat. So I've kind of got this chord progression. Maybe I can even put in a bass line now. If I bring the modular in. For some reason, the only thing, this USB is a little bit temperamental. I always have to just give it a bit of love. Yeah, great. So if I get that ready, then I can start making a beat. So if I do this, hopefully you guys will see that. He's hoping that it catches up. I hope so. There we go. Fantastic. So I've got this is just my Doepfer. I'm just going to sequence this in. If I do this, cool. It's coming in on 3. Lovely. So, without going into too much detail, this is just my AJH Minimod VCO into the VCF, controlled by an IntelliJoule Quadra, as is everything, and the VCA is a IntelliJoule Quad VCA. If you all like, I will put links to stuff that my rig. Cool. So I'm just going to keep this simple for the moment. Again, I just see this as proof of purchase to some degree and just proof of idea. E. Oh, it's got a bit of glide on it. Very average. I'm just going to quantize the bejesus out of that for a second. Cool. I don't think I want. So what I hear is slightly longer. Cool. You kind of hear how ear-led I am. No. And again. Something like this. Annoyingly, the vocal is just before the beat, so that's going to be interesting with this stem arrangement. If I bring this in, I kind of see it coming on almost like beat 2, so like, and one there. If I do this, so you guys can see. And if I bring you here, I'm hoping you guys can see that. That sounds Radiohead-ish. I mean, sure, undeniably an influence. Cool, I hope you guys can see that. It's just so I'm just tickling this. So that's it with nothing on. So I'd like to try and get around -18. Give it. So yeah, I kind of hear like a multitude of things, vocal melodies, and again it'll be a case of sorting through and seeing what works, what feels good. Something simple like that. So I can literally press this and record it in directly. The good thing about that is it will record it live and not necessarily on the grid. Let's give this I think it could be lower, right? This guy. There we go. Then I've got, if I do this, you should hopefully see that. Just giving it a little tickle. I'm pleased with that. Maybe if I have to remember this, I always forget. That's cool. See, this is what I love about Band Hate. I left the record on, but it added this really nice ghost note. If I just mute this for a sec. Almost sounds like a delay. It's staying. Okay, so what I want to do is now kind of just going to increase the white noise behind the snare sample. So it's just going to be the decay. Pretty happy with the sound, to be fair. And then if I kind of show you, I hope you guys can see vaguely okay. It's not so bad. Let's see if I can. If I do this, I can see what you're seeing then. I can do this, and hopefully you guys can see a tiny bit better. Cool. Hope you can see the kind of screen here. That does a very weird thing. I feel like I'm on the program Nightmare, if anyone remembers that program. I'm getting some Nine Inch Nails vibes. I mean, sure, stick them in the pot. Good old Trent. Okay, so how I'm going to process this kick. So at the moment, this is kind of like a basic sample. Normally what I do, the actual decay of the sample, the decay of the kick itself is actually pretty good. What I normally do is then put it through a low pass, and then use the envelope to control that. So I put it through, nothing coming through. What I normally do is then begin to open it a little bit, just so I start getting a little bit of sub come through. Might be a bit quiet, but you can hopefully hear that. And then I'll bring the decay in. Feels like a pretty healthy kick. And now just a little bit of release. Start getting the weight of the kick. I'm using all of the envelope, and then if I want more click, what's great about the resonance here is you don't lose any low end when you bring it in, and it really helps bring out the kind of definition and the kind of click. Really happy with that. Let's see where we're at. Maybe a little more of the, just a little more white noise on the kick. Something I really like doing with this is a tom normally. What I like doing is taking and turning, if I pause this for a sec, I'm hearing a bit of Smashing Pumpkins 1975. As in the band or the era. I don't think they were around then. 1975 are great. Believe what you want, but I think when they did, I think it was People. My respect for them went through the roof to kind of be in a situation like that as a pop band and then turn around and put out a single like that. I think is very brave, regardless of how you feel about them. And I can give or take them, but you know, they take risks, and that will forever have my respect. So this is just a gate, literally when I'm triggering the modular, this is actually kind of what the modular is receiving. This little gate signal. And what I normally do is, because it's quite prominent, I do the same as I would with the kick. Put it through a low pass and just try and like tame it a little bit. Just as it can. Okay, anything. So now I'm going to press play. So what's cool about this is, as you can see, it's kind of inputting here. If I do this, you guys can... I can now control the probability of that coming in. So rather than it be every time and it being a 16 bar loop, I can extend that out to 64 if I want. But I can also control the probability of this coming in. So for example, if I go here to this trigger, I can hold down all 4 of these and say, well, let's say I only want it to trigger 3 out of 4 loops. So now it won't trigger. On the third. Pretty cool, right? Cool. Go back to our okay, coming in a little bit hot there, friend. So it's just start getting maybe a sound from here. Too much. Lower. I'm going to go against my normal intentions and say, actually, might use it without the chorus, like a hypocrite. But it actually helps it sit back a bit. Too much with that. There's room for an extension there, definitely. Okay, I'd like something with the sustain pedal. That would be good. Actually, I don't know what these do, if someone wants to tell me. I don't know what they do. ML, GML. Okay, around maybe a way around this is using maybe a second inversion. Too much. Too much there. like that. Definitely the A on top. That's kind of cool. No. Definitely that A on top. Something like that. Might try. How accomplished am I at playing it? I think that's still. Maybe that's my way around. I don't know how well you can tell. Do you find it easier to tell the tone after or before you've decided what to play? Usually I try and get the part in and then kind of tweak it. I like to get it in the ballpark. This isn't necessarily... It's not quite doing it for me. Bit of verb. Actually, maybe want it to be... in this middle ground if I can. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've been invited to a Christmas market. Christmas market, I repeat, Christmas market. So the time is a-crocking. So I'm going to try and move along with this. I think what I'm going to do is probably play this in. Another good way, my piano playing skills are average at best. It's easier with a sustain pedal. That's something I didn't realise. But that's, we're going analog here, right? What I'm going to try, I'm going to play this in, and then I can kind of mess around with the inversions and whatever. Usually I find that the most ergonomic way of playing something is usually the most satisfying and usually the best tonally. I'm going to put this in just so I've got it, and then maybe we start kind of filling things out. I might pop something I really like for Ableton is this drum bus guy. It's really good for just which I can't seem to find now. Here he is. Just really great way of just managing what you've got. I love this frequency where essentially it's just boosting your root note to some degree. Here's that. It just kind of stops me like over producing anything. and then I'll put it in. Rubbish. Rubbish already. I have to really say I was transported to another universe when I first heard AR. Did you find your way back? Yeah, that's better. Cool. It's not quite giving me what I want. This would be good. Bit of velocity. Well, I mean, we just try to make music that we wanted to hear, no different than I am now. I mean, there's, I don't pretend. I don't really pretend to do anything that doesn't satisfy me. I mean, really, it's just always what I want to hear and what I want to listen to. It makes the most sense to me. Maybe I do want that chorus. I'm lying to myself. Really happy with this. Okay, I'm going to go for that and play it badly and then try and move on, try and put this guitar part in, kind of build up a basis. But yeah, probably got about 20 minutes or so left of available time today, but maybe we could try a bit more of this over the Christmas period. It's been pretty fun. Cool. Bit of click. See if I just remember my life. Let's go for that. Shit. Right. Just forget so quickly. Cool. Let's try that again. Why do I forget this? that's going to do. That's going to be my placeholder. Definitely play that 10 million times better. Immediately, I messed up that low note. I'm going to sit them down an octave. Da. Da. That's better. I'm going to commit a sacred sin. Just as this isn't going to be what I'm going to play, I'm definitely going to play it with the Prophet. That's not what I wanted to do. A couple of things I miss about Logic is some of the random MIDI options. Cool about this plugin version is that you can do all this kind of tempo sync, which is pretty cool with the LFO. Something like that though. thing I'd love is a mixer for these DCOs. I think that's what I'd really like for Christmas. Might be getting in the way of my... Oh, not yet. Okay, let's try and develop this a tiny bit more. Give it. So again with this little rim shot here, what I'm going to do trigger a reverb. And again. Okay, I'll do the after. Reverb. And I'm going to give that a percent. Actually, if I show you here, actually you can see it, great. I'm going to make that trigger 33% at the time. This, tame this guy a little bit. That in the bass line as well, like how do you not get lost in that drum machine? It seems very difficult to understand what's happening. That's kind of the fun of it though. Don't get me wrong, patrons will inform you that I do get lost in it, but really at heart it's fairly like you can see here kind of where it's triggering. That's the snare drum. that rim shot that I put in. Here's that little gate. And kind of the rest of the thing is like, this is the, if I put it here, this is kind of the synth engine. This is like the sound itself. I can put a sample in, which you can upload to it if I like. And then I've got a filter, which if you think of it as like shaping the sound. And then the amp, which is kind of controlling the sound. But yes, it is a bit of a menu dive, but I'm kind of into that. I do hear this. I know there's kind of doing it here. Maybe so for example, I hear this. I've now extended it to 32. I double, and all it does is really copy and paste what it is already. So it's the same beat, but now I've got kind of 2 pages, as you can see here. And what I want to do is take this, and there's something called re-triggering, which means basically it will just re-trigger to what I set it to, really. So that's a quarter note, so I want it to be a half note. 1 do the evil, 1 do the evil. So for example, okay, longer. Interesting. Right, sure. Okay. I'd like to play it. Do you have any guitar practice, learning tips, good guitar books or anything to help me? I'm taking lessons, but I'm trying to do things on my own. I just need some solid ground. I mean, YouTube and the internet are your best things. That Pedal Show is incredible. I do lessons on the Patreon if you want to do that. I can't really go into it like that here, but maybe I would do it on other ones. Get your head, learn everything you can from like songs, and also I really super advise going and trying to actually understand what's going on in songs as much as you can. I'm trying to do that. For me that's kind of the thing is to make sure that you actually not only learn the song but also the theory behind that. And I used to just find like jazz guitar books and just learn the chords and try and understand them, understand what a power chord is, understand what a major and a minor chord is, and certainly like the idea of like picking up standards and the idea of chords and what they can do, because it's just such a tool. Don't shy away from stuff like that. Cool. I'm going to finish this up with just by putting a little bit of guitar on this, and then that's kind of probably it now. So I'm going to try to end this in a good place. Maybe we'll pick this up later on in the week. 1 second. Cool. So I've got my. If I do this, I got my Strat going into a Sheriff 44, which is then going into, by Victory, sorry. And then that is going into a 2-note Torpedo Studio. Look at that luck. Whoa, guys. I mean, not that you can really see, but absolute blessed sunset going on outside. It's going to make for a lovely Christmas market. Dun, dun. So hopefully, well, I've got no noise. That's going in there. In here. Dun, dun. Nice. Volume's at 4, gain is at coming up to midday. Dun, dun, dun. And I've got the Comfortably Numb pedal by Green Carrot Pedals here, just going in front. I've got bus going out to a Soundtoys Echo Boy. As always, a melodic minor, harmonic minor. I've got that going here into my Apollo. Clean it up a bit here. So my master volume, this is it, no pedal. This is it with. More or less everything at 12. Boost a bit of treble, using the boost side of the pedal. Okay, so try this. Like that. Those lines potentially. Something along those lines. All right, well, maybe I'll pick this up either a little bit later or potentially later on in the week before Christmas. It's time for Christmas. It's time for Christmas market right now. But thanks to everyone who joined in. I hope I tried to answer your questions as we went along. Look at this. Look at this. Lovely. What an absolute... Let's get rid of this screen. It's rubbish. Look at that. Look at that lighting. That's what you need. Yeah, so thank you very much. Have yourselves an amazing Christmas if I don't see you before. But yeah, let's do this again and kind of work on this song. I'm sorry, I had to kind of cut it short, but it's Christmas market time. So have an amazing weekend and hopefully see you all again real soon.